Hey indie filmmakers, Griffin here with my friend Matt Negrin. We work on a lot of videos together here at Bloomberg Television.
And one of the videos we made starring Jeff Daniels last week went viral. Lots of people tweeted about it, wrote about it. The video now has over 1 million views.
So Matt, you wrote the script for this. Tell me how you came up with it, or why we did this.
We knew that Jeff Daniels was coming on our show to do an interview, and they wanted to do a web extra, and I knew we would only have about 10 minutes with him. So I started thinking, like, what's something we could do in the news with Jeff Daniels, and I remember that famous scene from the Newsroom, which is that show on HBO.
Can you say in one sentence or less what, you know what I mean. Can you say why America is the greatest country in the world?
The New York Jets.
No, I'm going to hold you to an answer on that. What makes America the greatest country in the world? I'm not letting you go back to the airport without answering the question. Why is America
Not the greatest country in the world, Professor. That's my answer.
Jeff Daniels' character, Will McAvoy, gives this really impromptu and passionate speech. He starts rattling off all these stats. It's like really powerful. So I was thinking, what if we just reprised that scene, changed a few of the stats around so it wasn't about America, but instead it was about Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
So can you say in one sentence or less, all right, you know what I mean. Can you say why Donald Trump is the best case scenario for Hillary Clinton?
Well, I think for the first time in election history, I think her opponent might donate to her campaign.
No. I'm going to hold you an answer on that. What makes Donald Trump the best case scenario for Hillary Clinton? Jeff, I'm not going to let you go back to the airport without giving me an actual answer on this question. What makes Donald...
Because he's not the best case scenario, John. That's my answer. Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump is a fact-bending loose cannon who alienates mainstream voters with everything he says.
It's a good script, and we only had 10 minutes to shoot it once Jeff Daniels was in the studio after we did this interview. So I was trying to, even though we didn't have much time, do like a shot-for-shot remake of the original. So I started by just going through Matt's script, and I just took all the screen grabs.
This is why working with Griffin is so fun. He came up to me with a diagram. You should probably show it as like a full screen.
I will.
It looked like a football play with like X's and arrows, and it was awesome.
Well, I looked at all the shots that we were going to need, and then I made a little diagram of where I would shoot them in the studio, and wrote out medium shot, close up, all of that. But I was able to say, oh, I have these like 5 setups I need to do, and kind of put everything in order of what's the quickest way we can shoot this without taking up too much of Jeff Daniels' time.
Part of the cool thing about the Newsroom is that most of the shots are, I don't know what the term you use, but they're dirty shots, or they're like behind the scenes, like whatever that.
Yeah, they're all handheld shots.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're a little shaky, and they all have like a little bit of movement on them, so I tried to do that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things in the video, besides this shot of you, where you're like turning something on. I like that shot.
Adjusting the dial, the
great.
important dial.
It's a split second, it moves by really quickly, but if you pause it, you can see in the teleprompter the script that Jeff Daniels is reading, because he's reading the whole thing from teleprompter.
Yeah. Which you can't tell if you watch the video. It looks like he's doing it.
Yeah, it looks like maybe he's looking between Mark and John.
Yeah, it's perfect.
You can also see me in the preview monitor behind Jeff Daniels. And you can see that it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then later in the video there's...
It's like 11 a.m.
It's 11 a.m. because we shot all these cutaways later so that we had some coverage and some visual variety. Every time we make a video together, you often write it, and you kind of act as the music supervisor.
I gave you, I think, like 6 tracks.
Yeah.
And so, like, just, choose your best one. One of them had really good piano chords that were, like, made me feel happy and also kind of sad at the same time. And I was like, that's what the Newsroom is. It makes me feel like there's emotional things happening, but I feel happy for watching it.
Well, and what's interesting is that the first track that we had in the edit was actually very similar to what's happening in the scene. It's a very minimal, just kind of like a sound.
It's just swelling.
Yeah. People seem to think that we were using the exact music. They thought we were using the same music as that opening scene.
People wrote about that. They're like, and then that Newsroom music swells. And a lot of people also thought this was like a Newsroom production. Like some people were confused about what it was, which Maybe that's our fault. I don't know. But maybe it just means it was done really well.
I think some people thought that Jeff Daniels actually
It was his
wrote
idea.
this or believed these things he was saying.
Jeff
But he was-
Daniels-
he was just playing the character.
I gave the script to Jeff Daniels. He read it in front of me in like a minute, and then he handed it to me, and he was like, "Okay, let's do this."
That's how things get done.
I don't know what the f you're talking about. His tiny hands?
You met Griffin before, right?
He was at the pilot,
That's
yeah.
right.
He actually helped me do the scene at the pilot. He's just reminding me.
Yeah, but Griffin was at your house.
I remember, yeah.
Matt, you want to finish up the video?
Sure. Thanks for watching, everyone, and click here to watch our Jeff Daniels Will McAvoy parody video that went viral.
And here's a YouTube playlist with many of the videos I've produced at Bloomberg. We also just launched a Bloomberg Politics YouTube channel where you can see full episodes of the show that Matt and I work on and many of the videos that Matt and I create together. So subscribe if you're into politics.
Hey, indie filmmakers. Griffin here.